Hello and welcome to Storylines, the women's cricket podcast with me, Melissa Story, and Nikki Chowdhury. Nikki, this is a very special episode. So could you tell us a bit more about who we're about to speak to?
Of course, it's a very special episode indeed. We're going to be speaking to Banafsha, Nahida and Firuza, Afghanistan women's cricketers. And a bit more for context, in 2020, 25 players were given professional contracts by the Afghanistan Cricket Board, the ACB. But after the Taliban returned and they could no longer play or train safely, they had asked the International Cricket Council, the ICC, for permission to play as a refugee team. Unfortunately, the request was denied. And since then, more than 20 members of the Afghanistan women's national team have been in Australia since the Taliban's return to power in 2021. And because female participation in sport in the country has effectively been outlawed, that's why they're in Australia right now. So we're very lucky to be able to have them on the podcast and talk to them about their journeys.
Yeah, and very quickly as well, before the women's Ashes test, which started last Thursday, didn't quite go England's way, but I don't think any of the women's Ashes has gone England's way. But the Afghanistan women's 11, they played a 20-over exhibition match against a Cricket Without Borders 11 at the Melbourne Junction Oval. Amazing experience. The side couldn't play under the name of Afghanistan Women because they're not recognised as a national team by the ICC, but it meant that they got to wear a pretty fabulous custom-made kit with the amazing red tulip and golden wattle logo, which I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit later.
Firuza, Nahida, Banafsha, Assalamu alaikum, Fakir al-Raglai. Have I said that right?
I like that you attempted to speak there and you just were met with lots of laughter. So I'm really glad I didn't attempt anything, but I'm proud of you for trying.
I have another sentence here that I really want to pull out the hat, but they're probably going to laugh at me. Should I give it a go?
Go for it.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
Razai che shuruat oku?
Oh, yeah, let's go.
But Nikki, I'm really proud of you. I'm from Afghanistan, but I can't speak Pashto at all, so I can't even say one word. I was really proud of you. Good on you.
Oh, thank you. I was taught by some Pashto speakers, some of the Afghanistan players as well, actually. So I've made notes.
That's great.
Thank you. We're mindful and obviously so grateful that you guys have come onto the podcast. And obviously you'd like to focus majority of this chat around your experiences in Australia and your blossoming cricket careers as well. But if we can, is it possible just to touch on and go back to 2021 when the Taliban did return to power? And if you're comfortable speaking, can you possibly share some insights on what it was like leaving Afghanistan and the emotions you felt at that time?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know who's going to be first, but I can start and then the girls can continue. So first of all, thanks Nikki and Melissa having us here. It's great to join this podcast today. So if we go back to 3 years ago when we left Afghanistan, so in 2020, we all of us got the Afghanistan national contract with the Afghanistan Cricket Board. So unfortunately, we were not lucky enough to play for Afghanistan or represent Afghanistan. And 6 months after we got our contract, Taliban took over Afghanistan, and I was based in Herat, which is western part of Afghanistan. So when Taliban take over, I remember it was a sunny day, I could say. I was sitting with my aunts and with my grandmas. So my older aunt came because we all live in the same area together. My older aunt came and she was like, "Oh, Afghanistan fell into Taliban." And suddenly I went into I was shocked completely for a few days. I didn't know. I was just crying. I didn't know, in fact, that we know what's going to happen for us because my parents lived the first regime of the Taliban, so they knew what's going to happen to my family and us. And more importantly, I was very worried about me and my family's safety because my family being always very supportive in playing cricket, because cricket and playing a sport was something very new in Afghanistan, but my parents always been very supportive and they always pushed me to go and play cricket and achieve my dreams. So when Taliban took over, we went to Kabul, which is capital of Afghanistan. So we got a call from my captain. She was like, come to Kabul. We are trying to get a way to go out of Afghanistan. So my parents decided to leave everything behind and go to Kabul. So we went to Kabul. We stayed in Kabul for 30 days. And then we got our Australian visa, and then we went to Pakistan border. But the hardest part of this journey being go out from Kabul to Pakistan border, because all the way was with the Taliban. There was like 8 checkpoints that me and my family passed. So on the way, every checkpoint that we were passing, there was a hope, because they were asking, where are we going? So in the beginning, we were saying that we're going to Torkham for a wedding. So we went few checkpoints that once we passed the Jalalabad, we were worried what we're going to say now. And then we say that we're going to a medical, my mom has a medical problem, we're going to Pakistan. So we went all the way. In the last checkpoint, they were asking, okay, show us your medical certificate. And we didn't have any. And on the time, we were always shaking, we were shocked. We don't know what's going to happen to us. So in there, in the last checkpoint that we know that they're going to ask for this, my brother was saying, oh, my mom is sick, but also I have because he was basketballist, he said, I'll have a basketball match. I'm going, my parents, my family doesn't have any other, my dad is old, so I have to take my family with me because there's no men in Afghanistan, there's no men to take care of them. So we finally passed all this way and we went to Torkham. And my journey was very long because I left Herat, and then I stayed in Kabul for 30 days as well. So the girls been in their houses, but we were changing hotels in Kabul because Taliban were checking all their houses and hotels during the time that I was staying in Kabul.
I can't even try to imagine what you must have experienced. Firuza, you mentioned that your family were with you. Benafsha, when you left Afghanistan, were your family able to come with you?
Oh, yeah. So we had the same thing, but just we was in Afghanistan in our house. But still my family and I was changing house not because I applied, but my father was working in the army for special force of UC, American Special Force. And that time, everyone was telling that maybe they will kill people who family work with the American people. And it was a bit sad because honestly, going to everywhere wasn't really easy. Even they was telling us, you guys can make a problem to us as well. But finally, we got a boarding pass and stuff, and then we started our journey at 3 o'clock in the night time. It was very dark, and when we got outside, there was a people who was checking every single road. So honestly, that was a kind of robbery for us going outside. But as Firuza mentioned, there was lots of checkpoints in the way to Torkham, and they was quite rude as well. And then that time Taliban came to me and told my brother, is you are women or she is the woman? And then my brother got shocked because the question was a bit difficult to answer. And he said, I'm the woman, I'm the boy, not a woman. And suddenly he said, you can't cross the border. And I was shocked. I was like, why? I have a boarding pass and stuff, so why can't I go? And then he said that you were a woman, shut your mouth, tell your brother to talk with me. Honestly, it was quite rude to me, and I've been crying all the way to Pakistan, from Pakistan to Islamabad. And after all, it was the worst experience that I ever had. It was a bad day ever that I had it in my life.
I'm really sorry that you've had to go through that, but thank you so much for sharing your experience. It does sound harrowing. I really have no words. Nahida, a question for you. So, onto the cricket side a bit more. How did you get into playing cricket in Afghanistan in the first place?
Cricket was a very big game for me because when I was child, I watched some games and I remember that day when Australia and England had a match, and I just watched the TV and play with my sister. Oh, what you are doing? It's really good. I wish one day I play cricket, and I continue. I just continue this game in home with my cousins and with my friends. And then when I start my university, there uh, I get a chance to play my cricket. First, I start for scoring. I study in scoring for 1.5 year, and I have a lot of experience in scoring also. So then I slowly I come to cricket because it was my dream. And yeah, after a very hard work and really much practice, I get a contract, and it's very special to me.
That's so brilliant to hear how your journey into cricket started. And for all of you, of course, you're now rebuilding your cricket career in Australia. I guess, Feroza, if you can maybe start, just tell us about what it's been like in Australia so far.
Yeah, I mean, we all know that it's Australia and Afghanistan are completely different in terms of everything, I would say. Even though if we compare, it's very completely different country, and even like culture and everything is very different. So once we came to Australia, I would say first of all, I would say a huge thank you to Cricket Australia. They've been our biggest supporter throughout the journey. In fact, that we had a lot of strong women, I would say, on back of us as well. We had Dr. Catherine all the way. We had Mel Jones. I think she's well known. Everybody knows her. And we had MI Staples. So these people have been behind us since we arrived in Australia. So first of all, we met so amazing and kind people when we arrived in Australia. So our first day and then second day, we went together, bought our kit bags because we all burn our cricket stuff in Afghanistan that Taliban could not find us. But once we came to Australia, they gave us a whole kit bag of every equipment that we needed. And so in the second day, we had a like friendly match between ourselves. The girls, we went to a park, we sat together, we talked. On that time, we were not able to speak one word of an English, so that was very hard to communicate by the time. So since that time, we enrolled in different clubs, all of the girls. So we enrolled in different cricket clubs. We stopped playing cricket. For me personally, and I'm sure for all of our girls, we find our sense of belonging throughout the cricket to Australia. Because that's what you need, that's what you want. As a player, I always wanted to be in a cricket ground and be in a place where I feel happy and I feel belong to. So since that time, we met so many good people. I found my best friends in cricket back in Afghanistan and in Australia both. And we had our coaches, so we had great coaches. They and like my coach, his background was from India, so he was very and like he was understanding what's our cultures because we are from quite similar culture, and it was very easy for us to talk to him not only about cricket, our life, and sometimes we need to talk to people. So he was very good since we arrived, and yeah, so we find the good people in cricket and in our life in Australia.
So Benafsha mentioned earlier that you had to learn to speak English. You just mentioned you didn't know a word of English when you got to Australia. So that must have been pretty difficult for initial communication. Obviously, it's coming to a new country, adapting to a new environment, a new culture, but also balancing your desire to still want to play cricket, represent Afghanistan, new world in Australia. Was cricket a bit of did it feel like an escape for you?
So
No, you're fine.
coming to a new country, playing cricket, learning language, learning culture, because we are from a really different culture. Honestly, I can't say it was escape, but still, it was kind of part of starting to learn new stuff as well. And escaping, like, we will go away, but we still remember those things, It's really, we can't really escape stuff easily. So I think it was just a beginning, I can say. It was a beginning and we want to go further.
Yeah, I want to share one small thing about here and so about our life. Life is challenging for us because we have to learn English because English is not our first language. So the first challenge for all of us is English. So we continue that way and start from our self against from ourselves. It's hard, but it's possible. I think the most important things that we will learn in Australia that Rosa mentioned is that here is not different between men or women, and they both have a freedom, and I think this is very special to me. They are really much respect women. They really much respect the woman's dream. So that is very special to me, and I learned a lot about this.
One thing we really want to talk about is your game last Thursday in Melbourne against the Cricket Without Borders 11. Can one of you talk us through that game? Because I was following along, saw that it went down to the final over as well. So an exciting game.
I still cannot imagine that the feeling that I had on the day. So it was feeling proud and cheering, lots of support, and in the time you are like, okay, finally after like I've been playing 6-7 years. After 6-7 years, you finally wear that T-shirt and step into an international ground. That's all you need. Like obviously for me, that was all. I know that people might think that it was Afghan 11, but for us was Afghanistan national team. Once we step into ground, we all went there to represent not only these Afghan 11 teams, but represent millions of girls that they are denied for their rights in Afghanistan. So for us, this game was a sign of hope. So we wanted to just give that hope for the people and women in Afghanistan. Women in Afghanistan at the moment, they are in a toughest situation that could be ever. And it's very hard for us to see people like women in Afghanistan are denied for their rights. And we have our rights in Australia. We can play freely. We can do whatever we want. We have the right to choose. That's more importantly. But for us, that game was all about to just go in that ground, represent Afghanistan, and feeling proud and make proud for Afghanistan. I know we lost, but as part of the game, there's win and loss. But for us, that was a huge win for first time as a team go into that ground and play. And we came from a country where it's completely different. We were playing in Afghanistan. I remember I was playing with the leftovers men's equipment. They used to give it to us to play with, which is very heartbroken. We've been national teams, men's been national team, but their leftover came to us and we were using them. So it's been with that equipment, with that situation, we made it to the international ground. That's something very, very special.
Yeah, I just also want to say something about this match, and I think in the last days of all of people, it was a very historic match on the beginning of a brilliant journey for Afghan women's cricket, and our main goals are was to prove everyone that we have a team, and we want to leave a brilliant legacy of Afghan girls who want to play cricket and get an education. And you know, I just want to say I loved all of the girls because I know that was their first experience in Australia to play a big ground and play together after 3 years. So they play for a lot of energy, and I'm really proud that. And I hope and I know that one day we will be a very famous and very talented team in the world.
And I wish you guys all the best. Benafsha, do you have anything to add?
As I listened, it was a really great match, and the experience was because we was trying so hard to get to that match. So that match wasn't a game for us. It was more than game, and everyone was trying their best, honestly. And the experience was extremely, really emotional, and couldn't really describe it how emotional was it. But representing country under your country name is something different to describe. Honestly, I would love to say it was the best match I ever played.
That really warms my heart to hear that, and I honestly hope you guys continue to receive all the support and get to fulfill your aspirations. But because I'm also very nosy and we're talking about cricket, what's your primary skill set? I want to know from each of you: batters, bowlers, are you a keeper? Like, what do you do? What's your main skill set?
All right. So I was batter. So I am a batter. So when I was back in Herat, I used to be opener. Now I play for Premier Cricket Club in Victoria.
And who's your inspiration? Batting inspiration of all time?
Let me think. So obviously for me, always growing up, I don't want to be selfish, but I have same cover drive as Virat Kohli.
Oh,
That's why, yeah, that's something that I love to say all the time. So for me, it was Virat Kohli, and always used to watch his batting to learn how he's batting. So I can do that. I can quite a little bit do similar to Virat Kohli cover drive shot.
well, it's a great inspiration to have. I think he's many people's inspiration. And Nahida, what about you?
I'm a rounder, so I just want to say about my favorite shot. It's the catch shot, and when some ball came to the catch shot, oh, I say, wow, it's incredible. I just want to play in the catch shot. So yeah, I'm a rounder.
So what about you? Go on. What's your skill set and who's your inspiration?
So I started as a batter. I started as a batter, and then after I added keeping, and also I am bowling as well. It's a multiple skills. I lots of time I enjoy doing everything. But as I mentioned, their favorite shot. So my favorite shot is heading backside. I'm really cool in that one, especially bonsai. I love bonsai. And the people I'm inspired from, of course, is Smithy and Alyssa Perry, Alyssa Haley. There's lots of them. I can't mention one of them, but my favorite is Alyssa Haley, and I always watch how she do the captaincy and her batting style. So I love her the most.
Well, if you want to play cut shots, pull shots, and play bouncers, well, Australia's the right place with all those great wickets to bat on, eh?
Honestly, yes. Honestly, yes. We had an overseas came over from Australia, and her favourite shot was the cut shot and the pull shot. And the poor girl came over to 4 months of rain and the soggiest pitches you will ever see. And I don't think she managed to play a cut shot the entire time, bless her. But yeah, Nikki, I know you've got another question.
Yeah, just looking ahead, obviously, everything that you guys have experienced. I don't think Melissa and I or our listeners will be able to fathom and comprehend and understand it, because that's truly unique to you as well. There's been a lot of talk about action and what the ICC could be doing or could have done, and other national bodies about their inaction, really not having done much. What action would you like to see? And do you think boycotting matches against your men's side is the way to go? There's been conversations about it. I just want to know your thoughts.
So I think, for me personally, we all have different but for me, I think making a problem cannot fix another problem, because where all the teams are men's and women's. Afghanistan men's and women's team are. They've all tried very hard to be where they are today. So in this situation, I think boycotting is not a solution, but talking more about the ICC. I think it all come to ICC. For us, it's important that ICC recognize us as a team. It's still, I think ICC is still sending the funds from like the women's part fund back in Afghanistan. And they know that there is no women's team in Afghanistan, and we are all living in Australia. So what we are asking for ICC, we want the support. We want the fund that they are keep sending to Afghanistan. We want to have that fund in Australia to play under the Afghanistan name. As I said earlier, that match was all about to represent Afghanistan and represent millions of women, and they are denied for their rights. So for us, it's important that ICC recognize us as a team and let us to play and compete in the international stage with the national teams. So we want the equal opportunity as men. We want to have the right to represent Afghanistan as men's doing. We want to have the same opportunity as other nations as well. We deserve the same opportunity as Australian women's team, as Indian women's team. We've been trying so hard back in Afghanistan to represent Afghanistan. We left everything. We lost our home, our identity, everything behind, just because we want to play cricket, and left everything behind to come to Australia to play cricket and represent our country. And also in that, touch on that what other nations can do, support us. We just released our fundraising platform, which is Pitch Our Future. So if anybody is hearing my voice, so please help us, please support us to continue playing cricket and give that hopes for millions of people in Afghanistan that they are denied for their rights, as I said earlier. So if you want to support us, our platform is Pitch Our Future, so you can support that. Not only us, but other Afghan women, we can support them as well.
And definitely, we will be putting a link to that on the podcast and the episode so that our listeners can donate and help support you guys. Firuza mentioned the ICC funding, which is being sent to Afghanistan. Benafsha, just a few days ago, it was announced that you guys have become the first recipients. I think I've said that word right. It's a bit of a tongue twister.
Recipients, I'm afraid, Nikki. We were practicing so hard.
You guys have become the first recipients of the Global Refugee Cricket Fund from the MCC, which is absolutely... How does that make you guys feel?
It's make us feel proud because honestly, in that big world, no one is trying to help us. Even like the first one is International Council, ICC. They was ignoring us. So having a support from CA, it's a kind of gift that even if I say thanks to them, I can't really do something. Like if I say thanks to them, it will be really less. So that support make me feel really good. At least someone is there to support us and saying, yeah, we know them and they can do it.
Just to finish off, this is a question for all three of you. We'll start with you, Nahida. What is your aspiration in cricket? What's your dream?
I say it's not only my dream, it's a lot of Afghan girls' dream. It's my teammates' dream to play with a big team one day, inshallah, and we need a support. And also, I just want to open the door for Afghan women that there is the situation really bad and they can't do anything for themselves, like education, sport, and a normal life. So I have a message for them to please stay strong, don't lose hope, better they are coming. We started and we will continue together.
Thank you so much. And that's a really lovely message to, as you say, all the women and girls in Afghanistan. Firuza, what about you? What's your dream in cricket?
Everybody knows what we want, but I would say that all we want is just to represent Afghanistan. I mean, It's been such a huge dream, such a young age for all of us. What we have done, we lost everything and then we start again. And now we are playing as a team again but I know it's not we played, but just what we want is that ICC recognize us as a team and let us to play and compete in the international stage and represent Afghanistan in the world. And also a takeaway I would say here for all the young girls that they are gonna hear my voice, no matter where you're from, no matter how big your dream gonna be, just believe in that you will achieve it. I, as a 17 years old girl, I lost everything, and I thought it's my life is finished, but I start over again, and we are where we want today, and we will continue to achieving all our dreams.
Thank you so much. And Banafsha, to finish off, what's your kind of aspirations for your cricketing career?
As I would like to say, I started really in the pressure, hardly and stuff. I will say to all the guys around Afghanistan or outside of Afghanistan, never say that is the end of it. Always be strong and fight against it. It's not the end. Even one door shut, there's always that second door you can get out of it. So be strong, stay strong, and believe in yourself. That's it from my end.
Really, really strong messages from all three of you. But just before I round up, I just want to ask one more question here. Is playing professionally in Australia something that you aspire to? Is that something as a long-term goal?
Of course. Of course, yes. Because we started... So, I don't know about others, but I was a person who played in the road with the boys.
Yeah.
And then after when I get to the team, and then there was lots of people ignoring me, and even the coaches didn't pay attention to me. So coming here, playing here, it's a kind of really make me feel that I'm something. So playing as a national, it's of course it's a part of our dream, you know.
No, of course.
So of course.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I would say that I wanna be a cricket commentator. I think most people know. Yeah. So I want to be a cricket commentator, but for most of our girls and also me, I think all of them, on behalf of all, I can say they all dream to play for WBBL. So that's something that we all plan and dream to, and I'm sure that at least some of us will reach that.
That's amazing. I mean, yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing you guys rock up for the Sydney Sixers, or no, it'd be Melbourne Stars. There's not a Canberra team, is there?
I will go with Sydney Thunder because Alex Blackwell is my head coach.
And I absolutely love Alex Blackwell because I worked with her a couple of years ago. She was the loveliest person alive. So I don't blame you with that.
Yes, yeah.
They will go with Melbourne Stars, but I will go with
I would
Sydney
go with
Thunder.
Renegades. I would go with Renegades.
Oh, we've got some battles already. Inshallah, you guys all make your aspirations, and we are just so grateful that you've come onto the podcast. You've been so inspirational, Firuza, Nahida, Banafsha, and just thank you so much for sharing your stories and your time. And I'm not going to lie, I think Melissa and I are a little bit jealous. So you are in Australia, you get to enjoy the sunshine. It's absolutely hammering it down outside. And of course, we will be following your careers very closely, and there will be a link in the podcast so that our listeners can donate towards your cause.
Thank
Nikki,
you.
I would like to say I feel jealous with you because outside is massive hot. I will be cooked outside. So it's always opposite for each other.
It's
Some
always
people saying, everyone will say, I wish to have that, but I think grateful for whatever you have.
Of course. So girls, thank you so much. And of course, we'll keep in touch, and hopefully maybe in a few months' time, we can have a conversation again and see what changes and developments there have been in your life and how things have progressed in your cricketing careers as well.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us here today. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thank you so much for today.
Well, Melissa, I don't know about you, but that has really, really touched my heart. I can't even imagine to think what those girls have gone through. And again, super, super thanks to Nahida, Firuza, and Benafsha for sharing their stories.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing I've taken from that is just not to take things for granted, because the journey they have gone through from Afghanistan to now in Australia, and the positivity and enthusiasm they have for the sport, and, you know, their university studies, to Benafsha's beautiful cat Lily, who we saw before we started recording. And I feel very grateful that we've had the chance to speak to them and record this episode.
Now, like you said, you just want to go and give people a hug as well, right? You just want to be really, keep your close ones close to you. And I honestly have no words. I'm stumped.
Well, thank you so much to everyone who has listened to this episode of Storylines. Of course, we've just finished our Women's Ashes dailies, and that means we're going to be back with some kind of interviews. We're going to do a bit of WPL action as well, because of course that is coming up and we're really excited. And then before we know it, it'll be April, it'll be freezing, and I'll be stood at Deep Square Leg with my hands so cold. And God, life will be so good again. I can't wait. Get in touch with us at StorylinesPod or Instagram or X.
And of course, if you do want to help the Afghanistan women's cricketers and donate, then we do have the link on our Storylines Instagram bio, and we're sharing it along with the link to this podcast. So if those stories were inspirational and you felt something move in your heart, then please do go donate to those girls. They're absolutely radiating positive energy, and their dreams and aspirations they're really commendable. So please do click out and check the link. But in the meantime, we'll catch you soon with some more WPL content. Bye.
Bye.